It's a warm day across Central Oregon. We are wrapping up the work week with a whole lot of cloud cover and a few more thunderstorms on the map. Hey everyone, I'm Darrell Winninger, the Chief Meteorologist at Central Oregon Daily News. We're about to take a deep dive into your most reliable forecast. And when we look outside, we can see that cloud cover. We can also see smoke that's still lingering over the high desert. Now, we're going to take the next several minutes to look at the thunderstorms that are pushing through, that potential of more thunderstorm activity as we go into the weekend, what this smoke means for us, if it's going to clear out, and what happens next. All that and more coming up, so buckle up. It's going to be fun. Let's start off with what it looks like right here and right now. Each one of these cameras helps to paint the picture, and we do see some pockets of clearing, but overall, a whole lot of cloud cover, a few showers out there off in the distance in a couple of these cameras, and we don't see any lightning per se. That doesn't mean it's not out there. So just to focus on a few more cameras, we do have some of them just showing really low visibility, and a couple of them that are pointed towards the Roe Creek complex have a varied descriptions. The one from Grizzly Mountain, you just can't see anything. The one from Powell Butte, reduced visibility, and off in the distance, you can see a little bit of what's going on, but for the most part, our air quality today started off moderate to unhealthy for sensitive groups, became unhealthy at times, and right now, it's moderate. There are only a few of those real-time sensors, courtesy of eSpace Labs. It's a company right here in Bend that is showing unhealthy for sensitive groups right now. Even at the moment, when you get up to north of Maupin, we actually have a couple that are green, getting further into Wasco County. Currently, actually, we can't really see the purple layer sensors at the moment, just in between data updates, that's all. And our air quality alert has shrunk considerably from earlier this week. It was stretched from the crest of the Cascades all the way through Oregon, through most of Idaho, and all the way up to the international line. Right now, it's just a few counties in Central Oregon. We've got Crook, Jefferson, Wheeler, Wasco, and getting up a little closer to Portland, it looks like another section that not necessarily counties, but it is sectioned out quite a bit to where even I think Hood River County has some of that because of the grasshopper fire. Now, when it comes to any other weather alerts, there are a few of them for eastern Oregon where there's a red flag warning and a few aerial flood advisories, but that's pretty much it. The reason for the aerial flood advisories is in that part of the state there were some thunderstorms that were rolling through. In Central Oregon, we even have some thunderstorms right now, and with satellite and radar, when we zoom in, we can see that one of those clusters is still over Jefferson County. As it was pushing through Sisters, it actually produced quite a bit of lightning, and then it started to fizzle out. As of right now, still a few lightning strikes, still working its way through Jefferson County, but at the surface, not all of that is translating to actual rain hitting the ground. A few sprinkles in some locations. Otherwise, we still have pretty dry conditions, so we are continuing to track that. And when we move the camera around, there were a couple more cells that were over Klamath County as well. And remember, just outside of Chiloquin, that's where there's another huge fire in that area, but closer to Crater Lake, that's where we actually have a few of those thunderstorms that are fizzling out coming in from just on the west slopes of the Cascades, and right around Crescent, there is another cell that is capable of still producing a little bit of lightning. Overall, though, it's much quieter than even it was yesterday, and we have one more round of this thunderstorm potential as we go forward through the day tomorrow. So at the moment, it doesn't look too bad when it comes to radar, but we are continuing to track. Any showers that develop could become capable of producing lightning. And so that's one thing that I'm still going to be keeping an eye on into tonight until this completely wraps up. But at the moment, it doesn't look like we had too much to actually worry about, and there were a handful of lightning strikes in and around Central Oregon, and at the through the rest of this evening, there's still a chance of some thunderstorm activity. Notice nothing severe is expected at all. It's just some garden variety thunderstorms that could be popping up in Central Oregon. Now, over towards Baker County, we did have one of them that produced enough wind that there was actually a severe thunderstorm warning issued earlier. It's just doesn't look like it's really showing up anymore. It was in the earlier lapse of that. But ultimately, as we go forward through the day Saturday, we have one more round of this thunderstorm potential. And some of this could be dry thunderstorms like we've been experiencing for parts of the high desert through the day today and even through yesterday. But at the moment, it looks like that potential for dry thunderstorm activity does extend into Washington and all the way over past the Oregon line into Idaho. So what a dry thunderstorm is yes, you're right, right? Thunderstorms usually come with rain, but sometimes, like what we're seeing today, you'll have rain falling and then it evaporates before it reaches the surface. It's called virga, but when that happens, dry thunderstorms are happening as well. Lightning is striking, there's not enough precipitation to help douse that fire, and that's when fires could spread pretty rapidly because winds get gusty around thunderstorm activity. And a quick look at the enhanced satellite imagery across the Pacific Northwest, what we actually see is these isobars are tightening up a little bit, wind speeds are picking up, and this is pretty much an offshoot of a weak system that's been impacting the Pacific Northwest. The main low is closer to Nevada, Utah, and Idaho. This is just some wraparound moisture that is bringing us what we need, that monsoonal flow that's giving us the instability required for some thunderstorm activity, but it's not the main body of thunderstorms that's impacting parts of the Pacific Northwest. Now, when it comes to your forecast model, the next couple of hours, where we have some thunderstorms, they fizzle out. By tomorrow, we start off with some smoke, some clouds, and then more PM clouds. And through the afternoon, that's when we have that chance of some thunderstorms. You know what? I'm going to back this up real quick, and we're going to take another run at this just to look at it a little bit closer. This is where the freeze frame was at 7 a.m. Now, I'm going to be going back and forth with the scrubber, so you might see it go backwards in time. It's not broken. That's just what I'm doing. But going through Saturday, it's not going to be until the midday hours that we start to get some showers popping up through the Cascades. And these are going to have the capability of producing some lightning as they work their way down the east slopes of the Cascades. This specific model shows Warm Springs catching a thunderstorm, just north of Madras getting a thunderstorm, Sisters getting a thunderstorm, but that's going to be very hit and miss where they actually happen. We could actually see this overdoing what's actually going to take place through the day on Saturday. Then by Sunday, more sunshine than cloud cover, some PM cover expected, and then by Monday, we actually have a chance of a few more showers late in the day. So ultimately, through the next several days, we are looking at this potential for some thunderstorm activity that could still produce some lightning, some cells capable of producing abundant lightning strikes, similar to what we had through the Cascades today and yesterday in and around Central Oregon. There were some 400 lightning strikes. But let's look at some current conditions. As of right now, it's not critically dry, but it's not muggy either by any stretch of the imagination. Most of our relative humidity values are in the 20s with some 30s on the map. It is either side of 20% in Madras and Warm Springs, so in Jefferson County, very dry. In that case, it is critically dry. But where we've been getting some of these showers, some of these thunderstorms, it's actually picked up our relative humidity substantially. But it still doesn't look good across the high desert. High temperatures in the last 24 hours, 80s, some 70s, even 92 in Warm Springs. And there's a huge run of temperatures across the area right now. We're going to get to that in a second. I just want to show you this because it's running from 20 degrees cooler than it was 24 hours ago in Sisters to 15 degrees warmer than it was 24 hours ago in La Pine, 16 degrees warmer in Sun River. And here's why. Where we had those thunderstorms rolling through, that cooled things off substantially yesterday and again today. It's been different locations that have been seeing that activity. And so Sisters is a cool spot on the map at 60 degrees. That is not a typo. That is not the misread of an instrument. That is because of some rain-cooled action really knocking down that temperature. Outside of that, we mostly have 70s and 80s with 92 degrees in Warm Springs. And actually, during the 5 o'clock show, when I came on air, when I was looking at it beforehand, that temperature hadn't dropped yet, at least for the data that I'm seeing. And then when I went on for big weather, it showed at 60 degrees, and I actually misspoke, saying that the temperatures are running between 75 and 92. Then I saw Sisters, and I'm like, whoa, 60 degrees. That's what happened, is that rain pushed through, and we had some rain cooling action going on. So here through the next several hours, we fall out of the 80s through the 70s and 60s into the 50s. Some 40s are expected for lows, and by tomorrow, we're back into the lower to mid 80s. Now, PM clouds are in the forecast. A few thunderstorms are going to be possible. This is the same forecast we've had through the last couple of days. Our UV intensity is coming down because of the additional cloud cover, but once we get into next week, cranks back up to very high. Now, when it comes to future precipitation, there's not a lot happening on this map, and that's because tomorrow's chance of thunderstorm activity just isn't really a good chance. similar to what we've had today. So going forward through the next several days, we're in a dip in temperatures right now, and we crank that back up Saturday and Sunday. And by Sunday and Monday, we're topping out on either side of average for this time of the year. But then by Tuesday and Wednesday, another slight dip in temperatures because of a weak system that rolls through late Monday and early Tuesday. In and out clouds, maybe some showers. Here's what I'm talking about. Here's your forecast model. And it shows that through the rest of this evening, these thunderstorms wrap up. By tomorrow, we get a chance. Watch this. Starting at 1 p.m., some showers on the east slopes of the Cascades, really through the Cascades. This specific forecast model is being a little less aggressive than that high resolution was, and it shows that as quickly as they pop up, they wrap up through the afternoon, getting into the evening. Then by Sunday, back to in and out clouds. Now I'm going to zoom in, and we're going to run this forward a little bit more because by Monday, there is a chance of some showers during the afternoon hours. But it's very hit and miss once again. And this is a weak system rolling through the region. That weak system doesn't bring too much in the way of precipitation at all. Maybe a few light thunderstorms like we saw today, yesterday, and possibly tomorrow. And then it rolls out of the area. But it does bring that next dip in temperatures. It triggers that next modest cool down. So between now and Monday at 11 p.m., most of us don't even get wet. Some of us just catch a few sprinkles, and others, some of these showers and thunderstorms will be rolling through the high desert by this time next week, a little bit more on the longer range forecast model. Now, that doesn't mean that we're looking at getting soaked by Wednesday and Thursday. What it actually means is this one is showing different conditions than the one before. And so there is a gap in the forecast models where the confidence is a little low, but I think the one that was a little more high resolution is what's going to pan out. I don't think the one we were just looking at where it had widespread rain is expected. Now, when it comes to wind gusts at the moment, those gusts are between 10 and 20 miles per hour, not too shabby and not too strong either. Actual wind speeds about 5 to 15 miles per hour, mostly coming out of the west and northwest. And the next couple of hours, that's when it's going to stay a little breezy at times. Winds out of the northwest and west. By tonight, we swing back around to the southwest briefly. And then by tomorrow, we swing back around to the north and the northwest. That same pattern, that typical pattern, is setting up across the Pacific Northwest, really across central Oregon, where winds get a little breezy at times during the afternoon and evening, swing around from the southwest to the northwest and north during the day, and it continues all the way through Sunday. And so this is typical for summertime. What's not typical is just the thunderstorm activity that we're expecting yesterday, today, and tomorrow. It's not a lot of thunderstorms, but any thunderstorms could be capable of striking some new fires, and that's why I'm harping on it so much. That's why I'm lending so much hype to it. Not because I think we're going to get widespread thunderstorms and power outages and severe weather. No, it's quite the opposite. Most of us don't even get wet, but all it takes is one lightning strike to start a fire. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I just want all y'all to know what's going on. Now, for tonight, we're falling back into the 50s with some 40s on the map and more smoke. By Saturday, few thunderstorms possible, mostly through the Cascades and coming down the east slopes of the mountains. Temperatures topping out mostly in the 80s with a few 90s. A few 70s are going to be possible once again. And then through our 7-day planner, we do have some roller coaster temperatures. Remember Monday, Tuesday, that weak system brings a dip in temperatures. Then we crank them right back up. And by this time next week, we're topping out on either side of 90 degrees. So it's going to be getting hot again. And by Sunday, mid to upper 80s, some low 90s. The best chance of rain outside of today and yesterday is going to be Saturday, and then again on Monday. Those aren't even good chances of rain. So when we look at your weather headlines for this Friday, August 14th, some PM storms are still expected this afternoon and evening, and then again on Saturday. Some poor air quality is still in the planner. As long as those fires continue to burn, we're looking at the potential of poor air quality, and then a modest weekend warm-up is in the forecast, but by Monday and Tuesday, we crank it right back down. So just a quick recap for you. Satellite and radar does show a cluster of some light thunderstorms now over Jefferson County. We're talking Camp Sherman, Black Butte Ranch, getting over the Warm Springs Reservation, actually solidly over the Warm Springs Reservation right now, and through the last 30 minutes or so, we haven't seen too many lightning strikes coming out of that. So that definitely could be good news. Good fire suppression where there are still some fires burning. Working the camera a little further to the south between Crescent and Chemult, there is a cluster of light thunderstorms as well, and also on the other side of the mountains over towards Oak Ridge. So really, these are just up and down the Cascades, except for what's over the greater Medford area, and that is a thunderstorm cell that forecasters over there are continuing to track. Outside of that, even getting up into the northeastern corner corner of the state, there's just a handful of some thunderstorms, none of which have any severe thunderstorm warnings associated with them, just capable of producing some lightning. That is the latest in weather. Join us tonight on Central Oregon Daily News. We'll have the latest headlines and your most reliable forecasts and another round of forecast models coming up tonight at 6, 7, and 11. We'll see you then.